Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here, friends. Today let's start off with our dashboard. The fear and greed index is barely changed. It's gone down a little bit and it's at 57 as against 58 yesterday. But the main theme today seems to be the temporary bullishness, in my opinion, because Trump says US has struck comprehensive deal with UK ahead of press conference. He's desperate to have some deal shown. So even though he said it's going to be a big reveal, he couldn't contain himself, but he has disclosed what is happening out there. And therefore, the futures are already up. People are looking for some good news to go bullish. And if you look at what we have in the United States Trade Representative Office, it says that the negotiation started on May 5th, 2020. And it's been ongoing. And the volume of goods, right, that have been dealt between US and UK, it says US total goods trade with UK was estimated 148.0 billion in 2024. US goods export to United Kingdom in 2024 was 79 billion, up 7.6% from 2023. US goods import from United Kingdom totaled 68.1 billion in 2024, up 6% from 2023, and the US goods surplus with the United Kingdom was 11.9 billion in 2024, which is a 17.4% increase. The trade deals were expected to be done with countries with whom US had a trade deficit. So that was the actual goal, but now the deal has been done with a country which has got a surplus. So US has got a surplus with the United Kingdom. So let us see what the trade deals are all about. I have gone into the Telegraph to have a look at what is happening. So they have been diplomatic out here, but if you go down further and look at some of the statements here, red line on lowering food standards remains, says number 10. Downing Street insisted that lowering food standards remained a red line for any US trade deal. This is at 12:21 p.m. their time, and the Prime Minister's official spokesman said, "We have always been clear on our red line when it comes to food standards. US wants to export poultry, etc. to UK, but they don't want to take it because of food standards. We are not going to lower British food standards. That's something set out in our manifesto." So this is happening right now. So today is Thursday, and today they're going to declare the deal. So somebody has to compromise, either the UK or the US has to compromise out there. And it says number 10 won't be drawn on Trump's comprehensive deal claim. So do not expect it to be a comprehensive deal. Trump may say it's a comprehensive deal, but if you were to go into the nitty-gritties, we might find some more details. And I guess once the deal is announced, the euphoria is gone up and people start looking into it and journalists start digging into the deal. Those headlines will start coming in and things will start moving around again. But in the meantime, if US comes up with one more deal, it would be amazing. Then it can keep the bullishness going. So I would say that some progress has definitely been made. And as far as the US and China deals are concerned, right, we are saying Trump digs in on high China tariffs ahead of trade talks. So if you look at what the Chinese newspapers are saying, China's Commerce Ministry responds to whether China has proposed any conditions before agreeing to start negotiations with the US. This is as of today, 4:29 p.m. And their time. And what they are saying is, if US truly seeks to resolve issues through negotiations, it must first recognize the serious negative impact its unilateral tariff measures have had on both itself and the global economy. It must also face up to international trade rules, uphold fairness and justice, heed the rational voices of all parties, and demonstrate sincerity in dialogue. So this is just at a high level fluffy, but if you go down further, it says the US must be ready to correct its mistaken actions, remove its unilaterally imposed tariffs, and take concrete steps to meet the Chinese side halfway through equal consultations aimed at addressing shared concerns. If the US says one thing but does another, or uses negotiation as a pretext for continued coercion and extortion, China will never accept it. It will not compromise its principles or undermine international fairness and justice to reach any deal, said the Commerce Ministry spokesperson. So China has got its own tough come back to what US said here when it says Trump digs in on high China tariffs ahead of trade talks. So I don't think China-US trade is going to come out anytime soon. I would be pleasantly surprised if it happens, but the two parties are further away, and unlike UK and US, China-US is a rivalry, and China would not like to lower its prestige and its position the way it sees it, because that's more important for China than anything else, and they have the capability to withstand downturns for a longer period of time. That said, I'd like to move on to the indices. They are all looking up as a result of all these bullish statements. So those of us who are doing day trading or something, we can go bullish today for a short period of time and take the money out at the end of the day, because you don't know what headlines are going to come tomorrow. That said, let's look at the economic news. Initial jobless claims are going to come out at 8:30. Non-farm productivity is also going to come at 8:30. And continuing jobless claims. There's a whole slew of data which the Fed is looking at, which will come at around 8:30 a.m. today. Will that change the Fed's mind? I don't think so. It will all depend on how the tariff talks proceed, because the Fed has said very clearly they are looking at the employment side and they are looking at the inflation side, and they want to respond to one of the two depending on whichever one is more severe, because both are adverse at this point of time as per the Fed. So there's a conflict between their dual mandate. So I don't expect any of these data to change the Fed's opinion, as long as we still have the tariff turmoil going on where we don't know what's going to be the outcome. That said, Trump calls for Fed Chair Powell. Trump calls Fed Chair Powell a fool after central bank keeps rates steady. As expected, Trump is again challenging the Fed chair. This is not a good news story for the world. So expect the US dollar to come under pressure. Right now, the dollar index has gone above 100, mainly because of the bullishness that we have seen here with potential trade talks. And then if we look at the 2-year by 10-year spread, it has also fallen below 0.5. So the world is throwing a bone in here, but we don't want Trump to go on damaging the US brand. Then if you look at the other news out here, it's a little bit concerning. Restaurant brands earnings miss as Burger King posts same store sales decline. So Burger King, I don't think it is fine dining. If you have a drop in sales, that does not reflect very good on the economy. So that's what I would say overall. And let's go on next to look at what's happening with the indices. And let's go to the futures first. I would suffice to say futures are looking very bullish today. And the way we have broken out from this important line of resistance, I think that we are on a bullish track. Deals are going to start coming in potentially. And if we break this diagonal line, then that is a long-term diagonal line. Let me just move to the 1 month kind of a view and show this to you. So as you can see, we have been within this diagonal line for a very long time. I would say it's all the way from, let me dismiss this out here, from 1st of October 2007, we have been within this diagonal line moving in and out. So that is the ultimate limit. I think that if we go and touch that line, we are going to be pushed back down. So the question is how fast we reach there and how fast we come down, whether we reach there at all. That is the question. So at this point of time, all I know is that we have a short-term bullishness that is available to us, and the scope of the move upward will go all the way up to 6248.25. But if you were to ask me, Raj, what is the line of resistance for today, I would put a minor line of resistance right out here at 5,831. I'll color that orange so that you know that it's a minor line of resistance. So that is going to be at 5,835.75. Support will continue to be 5,639.25. Likewise for Nasdaq, we are doing extremely well. Our resistance for today is going to be 20,641 and support for today is going to be 19,753. If you look at the dollar index, the dollar index is also moving up. It's above 100 and we have a firm support out here for the dollar index, and it's at 99.268. And as far as resistance is concerned, I would put it fairly in between these two lines out here and I would say that this is the resistance that we have. This is the minor line of resistance, and it's going to be at 100.878 today. So that's the range for US dollar index, and 10-year yields are going up again. It's traveling on this downward channel, but it's gone up today. We'll have to see where it goes to. MACD is bullish and momentum is also above average, so things could move upward. We already have a target out here for 4.742 or something in that region. That said, let's go on to look at the indicators where we left them yesterday. So we are supposed to break this diagonal line of resistance today at 5,677, because in the futures we have already done that. So I would say that for today this is going to be the support, and the support for today is going to be at 5,677.17, and the resistance today is going to be 5,767.55. MACD momentum, both are bullish, but MACD is tending towards the signal line, and I'm expecting that to change today, and we'll have a solid green bar out here because of the bullishness that we are seeing due to trade deals news item. Nasdaq is going to be having a support at 19,868.76 today, and it will have a resistance at 20,341.84. Let us go and have a quick look at the futures where Nasdaq ended. It was at 20,194, and if we come back here and look at this here, so 20,194 is just below this. So this will be the minor line of resistance for today, and if we were to move further up, then I think there is no resistance for a long period until we reach 21,670. So the coast is all clear for Nasdaq. Today is a very bullish day in my opinion, at least in the first half of the day and potentially towards the end of the day. QQQ is also doing very well. It's up 1.28%. It's at 489.49, and our resistance continues to be 491.65, and our support is going to be at 484.56. I'm just going to extend this a little bit more, and I'll say for today the support is going to be 484.78. That's the range in which I expect QQQ to move. VIX has come down. I'm expecting that by the end of the day, if the trade talk enthusiasm continues, we'll go closer to 20. Maybe we may even touch 20 today, and that can come. That can bring us to some kind of placid waters, and things would start looking much better. Put call ratio has gone bullish. And I think with that, I would like to go to AI and start looking at our stocks. NVDA is doing extremely well today. NVDA is looking absolutely bullish, and I think it's going to be able to break this minor line of resistance at 119.07. And if that happens, I think we are in for a huge ride upwards. And in terms of minor lines of resistance, I would say that we would have a minor line of resistance out here. And this is going to be at 123.23. That's going to be the minor line of resistance. If we go above that, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I'm bullish on NVIDIA. I've got a lot of NVIDIA holdings, so I'll decide to either sell calls or start taking profits by selling small portions of it. Next, let us look at Meta. Meta is above our minor line of resistance from yesterday, so 600.51 becomes a minor line of support today, and the resistance is going to be 630.20. Pre-market, we are already up 1.81%. Everything is go for Meta. Google is up 2.11% today. And if you look at where we are, it's at 156.02. So our resistance today is going to be at around 158.07. I'm going to mark this red. I'm also going to mark the other supports red. And our support for today is going to be 152.46. And if we break down below that, the next support is 147.91. That is a possible range in which Google is likely to move. MACD is trying to improve. Momentum is below average. There is some slew of bad news for Google because of which it has gone down, but things should improve. One of the bad news is that someone in Apple has said that future of search engine is in AI, but I'm thinking that already when you do Google search, you have an AI summary on the top, and then Gemini also helps you to do summarization. So Google has got all the assets to continue capturing its lead in search engine, in my personal opinion. So I'm still bullish on Google. I might accumulate a little more on Google. And also there is this antitrust thing where they want to break up Google. So I'm thinking that Google has managed to survive all of those things so far. It would do that in the future as well. So I'm still bullish on Google, but overall market doesn't seem to think so. That's why we have the situation that we are in. Amazon is up 1.56% in the trades today, and 191.87 was our resistance from yesterday, which will continue to be a resistance, but there's a good chance that we may open above this. So in case this becomes a support, then I think our resistance is going to be 195.77, and at the very least we have a support at 184.21. MACD is improving and momentum is above average, so Amazon is looking good today. And we have Apple, which is up 1.06, and our resistance for today is going to be at 199.15. Just mark that red. And our support is going to be 192.45. And I think if there is some bad news coming in from the China negotiation, Apple will respond proportionately to that. We also have a minor line of resistance at 203.22 for Apple. Next, let's look at Microsoft, which is up 0.87%, and it's above the minor line of resistance of 436.77. So this is going to be the minor line of support for today, and resistance is going to be 448.19. I have a negative bet on Microsoft. I'm going to continue to keep that. I'm thinking that this gap will have to be taken care of, and I'm going to hold on to my MSFD, and maybe I'll sell it off if I think that there is no chance of this gap fill happening. That is, if trade exuberance continues and everything goes up, then Microsoft will go along. So I'll have to take a little bit of losses out there, but I have done only a very small investment. Tesla is up 1.33% today. We still have the minor line of resistance at 291.74. Tesla has had some bad news. A lot of European countries have shown heavy decline in Tesla sales while having a heavy increase in EV sales. Therefore, Tesla is losing its leadership in European Union, and also market share in European Union. All of that is going to hit its earnings. And also in the US, I think Tesla, even though it has got a reputational damage, it's going to be in a positive situation, because the way the tariffs have been structured, Teslas will be cheaper than the ICE engines, because many of these big ICE engine companies are taking 2 billion to 1.5 billion hits. And therefore, I think Tesla is going to fare much better in the US, but the brand damage that has been done has to be undone for it to get its actual big constituency, which were basically liberal Democrats. He has to win them over so that Tesla can go up. So between the loss in the UK and the potential advantage in the US, I think it will balance out a little bit, but the China factor still remains. What happens in China is a big deal. So if it loses in China as well, I would be bearish on Tesla. Oracle is up 1.22%. It's doing very well. The minor line of resistance at 150.75 now becomes a minor line of support, and we are going to have a resistance. I'm going to convert this into major line of resistance. We're going to have resistance at 157.24. AMD is up 1.66%. Our minor line of resistance at 103.15 continues to be a resistance, and our support at 96.12 will continue to be the support for today. And if you look at SMCI, it's up 0.80%. Our resistance at 31.09 has now become a support for today, and our resistance at 34.71 continues to be a resistance for today. We have a gap down that has to be filled up, which will act as a magnet, hopefully, and it will pull it up. I'm long on SMCI and I'm in the red, so I'm rooting for it to go up, especially because it has crossed this diagonal line of support. But to me, it seems that it has just managed to get into a next bear channel. I think if I draw a bearish line out here and move it a bit closer, you would see that this is the next bear channel in which we are traveling. So it's not that great, but hopefully this line of support helps us to break through and get out of this diagonal line of resistance. Then we'll start thinking about potentially forming either a consolidation or breakout upwards from the consolidation. That's what I'm looking forward to. Maybe today's action might help. AVGO Broadcom is up 2.04% today, and our support at 197.97 continues to be a support. and 218.77 is our resistance for today. It's a minor line of resistance. Palantir is up 1.79%, and our support, minor line of support at 107.75 will be a support for today, and we'll have a resistance at 124.53. SMH, semiconductor index, is up 1.59%. Support continues to be at 219.48, and I'll put a minor line of resistance out here, connecting these two lines and saying that, you know, this could be a minor line of resistance for us today. I'm going to color that orange because we have a long way up to go for any realistic resistance, and I think we need to have some bookmarks in between, and that's the reason why I'm putting this minor line of resistance. So that said, let's go on to Tempus AI, which has had a solid gain, and this huge green candle is amazing, and I hope Hot Dog made some good money out here. Resistance continues to be 59.39 for today, and the support is at 50.29. But if we break out above 59.62 or 59.29, then our next level of resistance is going to be a minor resistance, and I would pick that somewhere around out here. This will be our minor resistance, and it's going to be at 64.24. So that brings me to an end of today's session, and I have reports that in some parts our live stream is choppy, so I'm going to try to work on that. I'll take the help of AI to see what kind of settings that I have to fix so that it's much smoother. I'll play around with that today, and tomorrow I'll look forward to your feedback and see if there is any improvement. With that, my friends, I'd like to bring the video to an end today. The basic news summary, bottom line, is that temporarily bullish for today. Bullish bets will work today. I'll catch up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.